Where's the new vice president from? He's from Ohio, I believe. Ohio. He's hillbilly. Hillbilly. Yeah. Anyway, here we go. This astronaut became the first African American to travel into space in 1983. He flew aboard the space shuttle Challenger on the STS-8 mission. His career includes over 6,000 hours of jet pilot experience, and he holds a PhD in aerospace engineering. So I guess he was the guy that would have had to go out and fix the thing while they're in space. That doesn't sound good. Milestones help diversify the face of space exploration. So does anybody remember who the first African American to travel in space? 1983? Yeah, I think you do know the name. That's good, Lisa. I think you pronounce his name Guion, Guion, G-U-I-O-N, and his last name is Bluford. So that's a mouthful. Guion Bluford. Yeah, Guion. Yes. Guion Bluford's historic flight marked a turning point for representation in NASA's astronaut program. There you go. Guion. Number 19. This astronaut holds the record for the most cumulative time spent in space by an American. So not just an American woman, any American. She's got the most hours in space. She was the first woman to command the International Space Station. So I guess they got to have a captain when they're in the space station too. Her career with NASA spanned over 35 years. She spent a total of 665 days in space across 3 missions. They left her up there, I guess. She got stuck. Those guys are still stuck up there right now, right? Supposedly Elon's going to go get them pretty quick here. They went up in the Bezos, or no, they went up in the Boeing spaceship, and Elon's going to go get them now. Correct. You guys have the correct answer, Lisa. Very good. Peggy Whitson. She has a nickname called the Space Ninja. I don't know why, but anyway. Whitson holds the record for the longest single space flight by a woman. 289 days. There you go. Next up, number 18. Now, these aren't all astronauts. They're just important people in space exploration. And this guy was important. This rocket engineer worked for both Germany and the United States. He led the development of the Saturn V rocket that powered the Apollo missions. His early work included the V-2 rockets used in World War II. He played a key role in launching the United States space program. Anybody remember something called Operation Paperclip? That's where the CIA stole all the Nazi scientists. We got all the Nazi scientists. Yeah. Yes, correct. You guys know. He was instrumental in achieving the first moon landing. And this is Werner von Braun. Werner von Braun, 1912 to 1977. Despite his controversial past, von Braun's innovations revolutionized rocket technology. There you go. Werner von Braun. Werner was number 18 on our list, so we're down to number 17. She was the first woman to travel into space. 1963. Her mission aboard Vostok 6 lasted nearly 3 days. She was chosen for her skill as a parachutist before becoming a cosmonaut. Yeah, with those first Russian things, it was good to be a parachutist as well. You never know when you had to jump out. She orbited Earth 48 times during her historic flight. She later became a prominent politician in Russia. Who knew? Yeah, Lisa knows. Yeah, we got a lot of famous women tonight, don't we? This is not a U.S. woman, though. This is Valentina Tereshkova. She, like I said, she later became a politician. Tereshkova remains the only woman to have flown a solo space mission. Wow. Tough broad. Cool. I have a wife with a middle name named Valentino. So there you go. We have that in common. Next up, speaking of Russians, he was the first human to journey into space in 1961. His flight aboard Vostok 1 lasted just 108 minutes. He became an international hero and a symbol of Soviet space achievements. Who was this first guy? His iconic phrase, "Let's go!" inspired future generations of space explorers. Who knows who this was? He was the first human to journey into space, 1961. Vladimir something. Now, come on. They're not all named Vladimir. Yes, Lisa has it. Does anybody remember his last name, though? Yuri. It's well known. It's well known. Nice spelling there, Stuart. Not even close. I don't even think I can give you credit for that. Yuri Gagarin. Gagarin. There you go. Yuri. All right, next up. This is an American. He was the second person to walk on the moon, following Neil Armstrong. That's the giveaway. He famously saluted the American flag on the lunar surface during Apollo 11. He developed techniques for orbital rendezvous during the Gemini program. His autobiography is titled Magnificent Desolation. Yeah, everybody knows. Everybody's got it. Yeah, okay, Stuart, I'll give you credit. Correct. You all know who this is. He continues to advocate for the Mars colonization. Aldrin's mother's maiden name was Moon. How about that connection? Buzz Aldrin. Mother's maiden name was Moon. That was, what do they call that? Divine something. That's unusual. Buzz Aldrin. Correct. Everybody knew that one. Thought it was Trump. All right, next up. Number 14. He was a high school teacher selected for NASA's Teacher in Space program. She trained to conduct lessons from space. Her mission aboard Space Shuttle Challenger tragically ended in disaster. You guys remember that? Do you remember seeing it? I saw it firsthand. It was horrible. Horrible thing to watch. Her legacy lives on through education programs and scholarships in her honor. She inspired the phrase, "I touch the future, I teach." Huh, I've heard that. Anybody remember who this was? What her name was? How soon we forget, right? How soon we forget. Yeah, I know. I don't think I would have remembered it without being the one that creates the game. Yeah, there you go, Lisa. Good. You got it. Krista McAuliffe. Krista. Yeah, Krista. McAuliffe planned lessons were later carried out by other astronauts in tribute. That's cool. So they eventually did the lessons from space. That's cool. Anyway, yeah, sad one. Well, but we are exploring space. Things happen. Next up. Her precise calculations were critical to NASA's early space flights. She contributed to John Glenn's orbital flight during the Mercury program. She broke barriers as an African-American woman in STEM. Her story was featured in the film Hidden Figures. Did you guys see that movie, Hidden Figures? I think I watched that in a hotel one night. Hidden Figures. She received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2015. Yeah, Lisa knows. Lisa knows. This is the Hidden Figures lady. She looks different than in the movie, but that was an actor. Yes, Katherine Johnson is the correct answer. Katherine Johnson, unfortunately passed in 2020. Johnson's calculations ensured the Apollo 11 mission landed safely on the moon. There you go. Now, you may know this next guy. You may know him. He introduced reusable rocket technology with the Falcon series. His ultimate goal is to colonize Mars. SpaceX developed the Starship spacecraft for interplanetary travel. There you go. Everybody knows this guy. Shown there on the Martian surface. Yes. Musk's vision includes making humans a multi-planetary species within the 21st century. Absolutely. This entrepreneur founded SpaceX, aiming to make space travel more accessible. That's right. Yeah, Hyperloop. Everything. Tesla. Neuralink. Boring Company. Hyperloop. Elon Musk. He is a Twitter poster extraordinaire. There he is. Elon himself. Coming in at number 12. So he's not top 10. But he's on the board. He's on the board. Next up, you'll know this guy. He popularized space science through his book and TV series called Cosmos. You remember that? He co-designed the Golden Record sent aboard the Voyager spacecraft. Now, you remember that? Who knows what the Golden Record is? Not Bill Nye. Good guess, though, but it's not Bill Nye. Yeah, Stuart has it. Very good. Kind of looks like Bill Nye, I guess. Cosmos. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, who knows what the Golden Record is? You guys know what that is? He was a passionate advocate for the search for extraterrestrials, SETI. His famous quote, "We are made of star stuff," inspires millions. My favorite quote, though, is billions and billions of stars. Right? Billions and billions. Carl Sagan, of course. Sagan's work helped ensure public support for NASA during critical funding debates. That's true. He helped keep the money flowing. Absolutely. Carl Sagan. There he is. Looks just like him. It's not. This is an astronaut. This Canadian astronaut commanded the International Space Station. He gained fame for performing David Bowie's Space Oddity in orbit. So he's the guitar playing astronaut, which gets him to number 10 on our list. He actively engages with the public with accessible space education. His autobiography, An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth, became a bestseller. I think that's probably what he's best known for. And playing David Bowie's Space Oddity while in orbit is second. Yes, you got it. Yeah, and Canadian. Yeah, Rhombus. He's the Canadian guy. Absolutely. Chris Hadfield. Yeah, the Canadian guy. Hadfield's social media outreach from space brought ISS life to millions. There he is. He's the social media guitar playing Canadian guy. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, part of the game. The spell correct. The spell correct is definitely part of this game. Next up. She was the first African American woman to travel into space in 1992. Her mission was aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour. She is a doctor, engineer, and passionate advocate for STEM education. She founded a company to develop sustainable technologies for the future. Sounds like checks all the boxes. She appeared on Star Trek, The Next Generation, inspiring diversity in science fiction. Who knew? Yeah, Lisa knows. That's correct. That's almost, yeah, that's pretty much correct. Yes, right. May is spelled M-A-E. You are correct. Mae Jemison. Jemison. Born in 1956. She's older than I am. Very few are. Jemison's legacy includes helping underrepresented groups pursue careers in STEM. There you go, Mae Jemison. Learn something every night on Quick Bite History Live. Now, this name's pretty familiar. He commanded Apollo 8, the first crewed mission to orbit the moon. So that's the first one that they went out there and went around it. His mission featured the iconic Earthrise photograph. Everybody familiar with the Earthrise photograph? This is the guy that took that picture. He read from the Book of Genesis during the Apollo 8 broadcast. His flight paved the way for the Apollo 11 moon landing, of course. And this is how I knew his name more so and saw him on TV quite a bit. He later became the CEO of Eastern Airlines. Everybody remember Eastern Airlines? Eastern Airlines. Yeah, Lisa knows. Lisa's got it. Yep. Eastern Airlines. Eastern, did that merge and become part of U.S.? Airlines, U.S. Airlines, I'm thinking. I don't know. Not American, I don't think, but U.S. Airlines. But then that later merged with American? I'm not sure. Not sure the whole thing. Frank Borman is indeed correct. Frank Borman's Apollo 8 mission was one of NASA's most watched events of the time. There he is. Frank Borman. Next up, number 7. She was the first Indian-born woman to travel to space. She flew aboard the Space Shuttle Columbia twice. She earned multiple degrees in engineering and aerospace science. That's funny. She tragically lost her life, though, in the Columbia disaster in 2003. Her legacy lives on in India's continued space achievements. So who was the first Indian-born woman in NASA and unfortunately passed away in the Columbia disaster in 2003? Who was that? Anybody remember? She got a cool name. This is Kalpana. Kalpana Chawla. Chawla. Kalpana Chawla. 1961 to 2003. Chawla inspired countless young women in India to pursue careers in STEM. There you go. I think you'll know this astronaut. He did lots of missions. He was the first American to travel to space in 1961. So he's the first one that actually got into what they call space. He later walked on the moon as part of Apollo 14. He was lucky enough not to be on 13, but be on 14. His moon landing included hitting a golf ball, a historic first. Do you guys remember that? Picture of a guy hitting a golf ball. Yeah, you got it. Lisa's on top of it fast. Yeah. Yeah. He overcame, how do you say this? Meniere's disease? I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Meniere's disease to return to space after a decade. Wow, I'm gonna have to look up what that even is. What's Meniere's disease? Maybe you guys could tell me. He was one of NASA's original Mercury 7 astronauts. So this guy was in it for the long haul. Shepard's suborbital flight helped prove the feasibility of human space travel. There you go, Alan Shepard. Yeah, Lisa seems to work for NASA for sure. Definitely. All right. I try to not be political, but this is not my favorite guy. But he's on number 5 on the list. I don't know. There's something about his personality that just rubs me the wrong way. He is a world-renowned astrophysicist, science communicator. He served as director of the Hayden Planetarium in New York City. His TV series, Cosmos, A Space-Time Odyssey, brought space science to new audiences. He has written numerous best-selling books on the universe. He is a renowned astrophysicist and science communicator. Yes, you've got it. Stuart has it. Correct. Big Ghost Town, what's up? Good to see you. His humorous and relatable style makes science accessible to all. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Tyson famously advocated for Pluto's reclassification as a dwarf planet. I mean, he was for Pluto being a planet or against Pluto being a planet. That can make or break him with me. Anyway, down to number 4. This gentleman is considered the father of modern rocketry. Rocket to me. His pioneering work focused on liquid-fueled rockets. He developed the first rocket to achieve controlled flight. It's important, right? 1926. This goes back a bit. His innovations were critical to later space exploration efforts. His theories were initially ridiculed, but later vindicated. So this is an important guy, and he goes way back. He is considered the father of modern rocketry. There you go. And he developed the first rocket that could actually be controlled. Robert is correct. Yeah, there you go, Lisa. Robert is correct. It is Robert H. Goddard, 1882 to 1945. NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center is named in his honor. There you go. Who knew? Now we know. There he is. Robert Goddard. All right, we're down to the top 3. This guy was named the chief architect of the Soviet space program. So let's get our Soviet space experts on board. He led the launch of Sputnik, the first artificial satellite. Now, I was born right about the same time that Sputnik went up. Like, it was the same year, for sure. He oversaw Yuri Gagarin's historic spaceflight. He was in charge. He was the Wernher von Braun of Russia. His identity was kept secret during his lifetime due to Cold War tensions. So that's why we never heard of him. His innovations helped win the early space race for the USSR. And yes, they were ahead, weren't they? Does anybody have any clue who this is? Because they kept it a secret. So only the power of AI are we able to determine this guy's importance. Only with the power of AI. This is Sergei Korolev. Korolev. Sergei. Korolev's contributions earned him the title the chief designer in the Soviet Union. There you go. We're down to the top 2. This gentleman was the first human to walk on the moon. His famous words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," are iconic. He piloted the lunar module with precision to ensure a safe landing. I guess that was pretty sketchy, right? He had to take over manually and land that thing so it didn't land in the crater or something. That was pretty sketchy. He was known for his humility despite his historic achievements. That's correct. Everybody knows. A nice depiction by the robots, I think. Kind of it's a young Neil Armstrong. It's good. His career also included test piloting the X-15 rocket plane. You guys remember what that X-15 looks like? That's something else. Like this super sleek black thing that looks like a missile. I guess he flew that. Armstrong's lunar boat print remains preserved on the moon's surface. Armstrong's lunar blueprint. I'm sorry. That makes a lot more sense. Armstrong's lunar blueprint remains preserved on the moon's surface. All right, number 1 in the space category. He is often called the father of modern astronomy. His telescope revealed Jupiter's moons and Saturn's rings. That sounds important. He supported the heliocentric model, challenging the church's geocentric view. He faced house arrest for his scientific beliefs. His work laid the groundwork for centuries of astronomical discovery. Stuart has it. Copernicus is always a good guess. But they're saying the telescope and discovering the moons of Jupiter and the rings of Saturn were important to the modern thinking of astronomy, I guess, or bringing it to the masses, right? Galileo. And what was Galileo's last name again? Galileo Galilei. Galileo Galilei. I love that. We're going to see him again, because I like to say his name. All right, we guys did pretty darn good on that one, too. We've had some fun tonight. We have.